Rebound taken by Iguodala. Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the rejection.
Cleveland, this is for you.
Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, 4-4 and go. That other getting old. We got Sam right in time. This is a sports octagon. Sports for forever and beyond. Spending with Sam Ryan time. From the puck to the glove to the pigskins high. Share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. Down the baseline in the bleachers, or you wanna get denied. Yeah, share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, it's 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul.
The Browns Super Bowl contenders.
Hey, listen, when we start talking about what wins Super Bowl, we talk about talent. The Browns, they have the talent. They have it.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to episode number 42. Very excited tonight. Here right around 9:30, we will be welcoming in the head coach of your local Conneaut Spartans, Coach Rocco. Is it?
Dobrin.
Someone say last name. Dobrin. Sorry.
Yeah.
Coach Rocco Dobrin. Sorry about that, Coach. If you're listening right now, I do apologize, but we're very excited to welcome you in tonight around 9:30. How have you guys been? It's been a couple days now. What is today? Tuesday.
Today is Tuesday, my good man.
We haven't really talked and seen much of each other throughout the weekend. What is up with my amigo Sammy and Tom?
Well, first things first, I got to send a big shout out to my daughter and the St. John Heralds, the 8th grade team tonight on their first game of the season, as well as their first win. So those girls are out there kicking butt. We are going to we are in the process of doing some big things, trying to get volleyball incorporated here now that we're tying the football not up. So volleyball going to get included here a little bit, but you know, the girls went out there tonight, played their butt off. Shout out to St. John's School because that box cast was flawless.
Yes.
You know, they had, you know, it was really a very clear picture, very nice picture. I won't say flawless. They did have to stop it and start it, but that's to be expected. But I know the picture was great. It was very easy to watch. And in the time of COVID, I mean, where everything is limited and you can't go in, you can't do this, can't do that. It's nice that we at least have an outlet. So shout out to the Lady Heralds of the 7th and 8th grade team on your first win of the season. Way to go.
Yeah, awesome.
Way to go,
Shout
girl.
Shout out to them. It's actually been about a week since I've seen the goalies and you guys. Yeah, I was a little absent from Friday's scrimmage. You guys did an awesome job. That was great. So shout out to Ryan and Sam. Yeah, so not much on my end, man. Had a bit of a spill yesterday. We're not going to go into it. I may have what people may call a mild concussion. Feeling a little out of it still, but you know, it's all water under the fridge, man. You know, guys, when they say tie your shoes, like I feel the person that told me to tie my shoes didn't want to say a toe-to-so, but they a toe-to-so. That's a Trailer Park Boys reference for anyone who doesn't know.
What up, Scone?
We got Sconey, we got Grandpappy in here.
Grandpappy.
Yeah, both of them. Thank you guys for joining us. I'll tell you what. Briefly, a glimpse of my miserable weekend was tearing out concrete at a friend's garage. It was absolutely miserable. Absolutely miserable. I got to use a jackhammer for the first time, and that will hopefully in my life will be the last time. That was terrible.
Do your hands still feel like this?
No, they actually. I thought they would, but it wasn't that bad the next day. But genuinely, I haven't had calluses. I've had calluses before, but what is developed on the inside pad of my hand is not safe for mankind. I will tell you, it's not good. It is just not good. My hands hurt for 2 days afterwards. They're finally coming back to normal. It's great. It is great. So
You got a nice.
but yeah,
boy,
that was my,
I'll tell you another thing though. Tomorrow is the first day of school for my kids. My girls are a little bit older. Yeah, my girls are a little bit older. So I've got a 6th grader and an 8th grader. So luckily for me, they start at the same time on the same day. I should go play the lottery because of the way that went out. But naturally, my house is just everybody running around like crazy people. Everybody's got their hair done and all that crazy.
Yep. Gotta look good. The only thing at St. John that you can wear that's different, and it's even still kind of monitored, are tennis shoes. Less that, it's black or blue pants and a white polo. So, but we got plenty of those. My wife, by the way, ordered I think 12 polos or something crazy for one
First of all,
kid.
you can't have too many. You cannot have too many because it only takes one. It only takes one pasta day, and shout out to St. John because that pasta sauce is amazing. But it only takes one pasta day, and that white shirt. It quits, baby.
I should say they can wear. It's royal blue and what's the gray?
Royal blue, gray, and white. And
this is the only white shirt that is I have on right now, and this is the first time I ever wore it. One. So this is probably the last time by the end of this show. But 2, my son owns gray and royal blue shirts. There's not a white shirt in his repertoire. That's
good
colors.
Parenting. That's good parenting.
Yes,
you got to have at least one though, because like we keep one for what's it called? Mass.
Mass. No, he's got. I mean, he's got a button down and all that.
Yeah, you got to have at least one white one, and then
he's got that. The tie. My wife even bought him suspenders with a bow tie. No, they're all legit ties.
Good for him.
But yeah, they're all legit in some way.
I feel like if you're a grown man, you don't know how to tie a tie. It's time to rethink. You better learn it.
Oh yeah.
Listen,
I got 4 different knots I can tie, man. 4 different knots.
But it's.
I got one.
And yeah.
I can at least get. It's the over, through and through. That's it. I don't know if it's a Windsor, a square. It looks like a triangle when I get done with it. That's it.
You're doing a half Windsor. You're doing a half Windsor.
I got a 1 knot game, buddy. And shout out. I don't remember what his last name was, but his name it was Bob something. And one of my first jobs as an adult, I was 18 years old. I took a job at Dillard's, and I showed up there. And he could tell that I was just like. I had a tie that had been tied for about 30 years and just hung up tied.
Yep.
So he asked me if I knew how to tie a tie. He showed me that day. So shout out to Bob.
Shout out, Bob.
I just double knot everything so I don't have to worry about it falling off. All right.
I probably can't get away with that anymore because, I got a lot of real estate around this neck.
Oh, yeah. Heck yeah, dude. That's how you know you're a man. That's how you know you're a man, when you got to do the tie and you don't even button the top button.
Yeah, man. Listen, I got to get a new tie every time because, maybe I might need a little bit more length.
Heck
Yep.
Why the heck not,
All right, let's dive into the typical, which I don't even have pulled up yet, but give me 1 second, and I will. Some COVID-19
we are to talk about it.
Yeah, just pumped. Let me share my screen. Click a couple buttons. Coming in hot. Here it comes.
I will say this while he's bringing that up. On last Friday, when we covered that scrimmage, I realized that when I got excited and I yelled, that it sounded like 80s boombox with no battery, or where the batteries were dying. So this week I will make a concerted effort to not scream, or if I do, I will take the microphone away. Because like I said during the broadcast, I get upset.
Yeah. So real quick, we'll touch on a few things here, COVID related. In Ashtabula County, 595 cases, 46 deaths. There are no positive signs. Well, I should say that differently. Does not show an increase from yesterday. Actually, you see that below 595. Usually there's a plus, but there's not. So in Ohio itself, 849 cases and 8 deaths. So honestly, we're kind of on a stable platform. The last time we were on here, at least it seems it was around that same number. It wasn't a big spike or anything, but we all know what happens this week, next week, school start. So it's gonna get interesting.
Not just that. On Monday, Ashtabula County is home to a pop-up testing site. So
that's right.
Yeah, starting
that.
on Monday, which honest to God is my nightmare. Only because of some of the ramifications that can come if we have a huge increase. But yes, on Monday, Ashtabula will have a pop-up testing site where everybody and anybody can go get tested. So we shall see. We shall see. Honest to God, fingers crossed, praying, whatever you got to do, because given given some results that nobody wants to see, we could lose some things that nobody wants to lose. I'm not going to speak it into existence, but you're picking up what I'm putting down, if you understand.
Heard that thunder. But so let's get off the negative. Let's get rid of it. Just sweep it away. Little sweep. Anyways. Listen, this on Friday last week, me and Sammy went live from Lakeside, like he briefly spoke of, and what a blast that was. I don't know if anyone from Lakeside is on here watching right now, but big shout out to Jason Baxter. Am I saying that right, Sammy?
Yes.
For some reason, I cannot remember the athletic director's name at Lakeside worth the life of me. I even have his number in my phone. Very nice guy. Put me and Sammy right up on the in the crow's nest. Yes. So, which made my life easier. But big shout out to Lakeside. They put me and Sammy right up in the crow's nest is what we're calling it. And maybe the dragon's lair. I don't know, whatever you want to call it.
The bird's nest, the crow's nest.
Bird's nest.
Spot above.
Above the press box. Yep. It's a spot above where your DCs and OCs go. So big shout out to those guys over there. It was really great. We tried to hunt down, and that was last minute too. I mean, we didn't get the okay until like 11:30 that Friday morning. So shout out to Buzz Edwards for helping us out there and the Lakeside Dragons. And Sammy, I do believe we're going live from there this Friday again, aren't we, for our first inaugural quote unquote
That's right.
season opener.
I'm gonna put up the graphic so everybody who's watching can see.
Look at Sammy coming in digitally.
Here we go. This is a tentative schedule for everybody watching this. That we're covering this. This is all based on obviously access if we are going to be granted access. This is also based on as long as games don't get changed. And there was a reason why we only went to get week 6. Because here at 440 and Goal, we believe in all of our local teams, and we believe week 6 or week 7 is a win for all of them. But while I'm going through this, I'll kind of just run through some of the games we're covering. Week number 1, we are covering Lakeside versus the West Geauga Wolverines at beautiful
Lakeside. By the way, that is the CVC game of the week. So very interesting. Go ahead, Sammy. Sorry, I just want to make sure I got that.
No, you're good. You're good. So week number 2 is actually kind of special because we have a doubleheader already in the season. On Friday, we're going to be covering the Pymatuning Valley, because I always want to call them Pymatuning, Pymatuning Valley Lakers going against the St. John Fighting Heralds at Spire, which is another one. If you have not been to Spire yet, it is definitely worth going to check it out. It's really a world class. It's a world class facility that we have right here in town. So if you have not seen it, maybe go check it out if you can. If not, obviously 440 and Gold, we're going to be your go-to for high school sports this year. Then on Saturday, we've got another game we're covering, and that is the Edgewood Warriors with Coach John Butchko versus the Geneva Eagles with Coach Chip Sorber. That's going to be a hell of a game, because now you want to talk about two teams with wildly different offenses teeing off against each other. You've got the guy that doesn't run the ball against the guy that doesn't pass the ball. It's going to be a hell of a game. I can't wait to cover it. It's going to be a great game. So, tune in for
Wing
that.
T versus the spread, baby. Wing T versus the spread. Yeah.
Wing T versus the spread and the extra spread, because Coach Butchko likes to throw that thing. Week 3,
Yeah, he does.
we return to beautiful Ashtabula Lakeside Stadium as they rematch against the Harvey Red Raiders. And for those of you who don't know, Lakeside got
Shootout.
into an offensive shootout with those guys last year, with the final score being 68-62. Now, I know
Lakeside put
neither
the dub
one of
up.
I know, yeah, with Lakeside coming up, on top, but I know neither one of those coaches want 60-0 given up this year, but it's definitely
Right.
going to be worth watching that week. It's going to be fun. So that's our week 3 game. Week 4, we return
Butchko, or not Butchko, I was going to say, but Edwards, that was his big thing this year, guys, is he wants to see improved defense. When we talked to him, that was the number one game he spoke of, was that the Harvey versus Lakeside game. So, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that he was going to take it personal this year. AJ Long, I will smite you. Do you want to be smitten? Week four is we return to Spire, and that's going to be the Wyndham Bombers versus St. John Fighting Heralds, and that actually ends up being St. John's homecoming game. So that'll be a great one. Not last year, obviously, because St. John had they were playing the different style of football. But 2 years ago, their playoff year, some of their best games were against Wyndham. It was really, really a ball to watch. So that's going to be a great one to watch. And then week five, we get to go down to Jefferson and check out one of the coolest high school football stadiums in the area.
Yep.
It truly has a nice homey feel. Where we get to go see Ed Rankin's Jefferson Falcons go against the Girard Indians. For those of you who don't know, if you didn't watch the episode where we had them on, they've got a new offensive coordinator, a friend of ours, friend of mine, Brandon Hanna. This offense is going to be something to watch. I guarantee you by week 5, you're going to want to tune in, because by then you've probably already heard all the stats that they're going to be putting up. They've got some really great kids on that team, including a returning senior in Bruckman, who's probably going to try blow the doors off the rushing this year. Going to be super fun to watch. Tune into 440 and Gold. That's what we're going to do. And then week 6, we are going to end it with the coach who we have coming on tonight, Rocco Dobrin, and the Conneaut Spartans taking on the LeBray. There's a name, LeBray Vikings. Haven't seen LeBray in these parts in quite a while. We're going to go to Conneaut and incorporate ourselves into the biggest little city in Northeast Ohio. Get out there, cover these Conneaut Spartans who are coming off of a 9-1. That's right, gentlemen, 9-1 season from last year. Going to be a great game to watch. So that's weeks 1 through 6. Now, week 7 is obviously a playoff. God willing, anybody who gets a home game, if we can get one of those around here, we will do everything we can to get there. I know that there are, for those of you who are watching and don't understand and don't know, there are games scheduled past week 8 and past week 7, excuse me. And those games are contingent based on if teams are still in the playoffs or not. So they do have some more games. We just haven't published them yet because we're putting that good juju in the air. We want everybody to know that we think you're winning week 7. We think week 8's another playoff week for you. But you guys can rest assured that if there's a football in Ashtabula, we're going to try and be there.
Yep, by all means, we will be. Just know, guys, that schedule it could change. There's no guarantees with any of it, so don't mark it on your calendar just yet, or you can temporarily mark it. Mark it in pencil. No pencil, no pen, no Sharpies, nothing. So we're going to try to keep that calendar as true as possible, but you just never know what happens, especially with the COVID epidemic we're going through right now. Last week, that was our struggle. We dealt with that, just getting into a stadium. You never know what happens.
The games, the games week 8 through 10 are some of the biggest rivalry games. You've got Conneaut going against Edgewood. You've got Conneaut going against Jefferson. I know they're playing at that time. Edgewood and Lakeside's game is at that time.
Conneaut plays PV week 8. Obviously, no playoffs. Then they play St. John, which will be a good game. And then they head out to Jefferson for week 10. So it just depends on, obviously, hopefully I hope they win in the playoffs. Yeah. There's so many variables that go into that week 7, 8, and I'm sorry, 8, 9, and 10. So
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons why we haven't put anything out there, because there's nothing true to it just yet. So
yeah, we're just giving you, this right now is kind of what I.
Tony, what is wrong with you? Take it easy down there, Thunder.
But yeah,
so very excited. Yeah.
And another thing we're going to try and do is and this is for any athletic director watching, this is for any school watching, including if we have any of the middle fielders out here, if you or your school has a box cast, we will share it to the page.
Absolutely.
Yep.
We want you and everybody who is involved with 440 and goal. We want you to know that we're going to be the home for high school sports. So everything that's streamed is going to be here, no matter what sport it is. Like today, we did an 8th grade girls volleyball volleyball game because that was available. If we find it, it'll be here.
Yep. Very excited. Very excited. All right. Let's get into a little bit
Oh, Ryan froze.
of Cleveland Browns talk. So kind of a big loss for the. Did I freeze? Am I there?
No, you're good. You're good. You're
there.
It's here. Sconey says tells me to loosen up, and then I'm freezing. Perfect. But anyways, oh, Mr. Grant Delpit, out for the season. Achilles tear, done. What was he? He was a first-round pick, wasn't he? I can't remember now. Why can't I remember?
No, he was
First-round pick out of LSU. Was he second round?
Second round pick out of LSU. We traded back actually in the second round in order to get him, passing up who I wanted, Xavier McKinney from Alabama. Still got an SEC safety, but that's neither here nor there.
Right. I don't know. I mean, it is a big deal, obviously, but they do still have Carl Joseph, and then we were talking about Anderson Sendejo, who they brought over from, I do believe it was Minnesota. He was one of the guys from Minnesota that came with Stefanski. Yeah. So
So, I mean, listen, Carl Joseph is great and all, but like I think we're forgetting, he's a strong safety.
Yeah, he's a strong safety that comes up in the box. You know what I mean? Like he's not really a coverage guy.
No, we need a guy, and there's a guy right now that got cut because he got his car waxed. And if the Browns don't at least give him a look, you're idiots. Because we should have got him last year. And that's Earl Thomas.
I agree. I agree with you to a point, though, Sammy, because right now you have to have a culture, and you have to have guys who buy into that culture. And Earl Thomas is too much of a loose cannon, I feel, to put into that locker room with other boisterous players like Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry, Baker Mayfield. Say what you will, those guys are kind of like they're all over the place. They got their egos, and Earl Thomas is if he comes in and he's not bought in, he's going to exert that ego, and it's going to be the exact same thing. Because here's the thing, Earl Thomas is on a winning team pulling this crap. What's he going to do when he comes to a mediocre team? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can excuse everything when you win, and if a winning team doesn't want a great player with that problem, do you think a mediocre team wants that to take on that problem? Because then what's going to happen? Colin Cowherd. Oh, well, I told you, Browns are just a dumpster fire. You know what I mean? That stupid dang voice of his, man.
Has he said anything positive yet about Cleveland? I don't know. I don't watch him. Has he?
No. First of all, he's a West Coast guy. So everything, as far as he's concerned, the LA Chargers are the best thing to happen to football ever, which lets you know everything you need to know about him.
He loves the Jets.
Right.
And he loves Sam Darnold. Oh, my God. He loves Sam Darnold more than I love Odell Beckham. And that's a lot of love.
But here's another problem with the Browns defense is nobody has cut their teeth on that defense. You don't have any veterans. Nobody sniffed the playoffs. Nobody's ever played, more than 3 seasons. Like, bring Earl Thomas in there. He's seen everything that he needs to be seen. If a real coach can control anybody. So if he comes in there, you control the narrative. At the end of the day, if the offense is doing their job, the defense is going to have an easier time. If you're winning ball games, it doesn't matter. Trust me, he didn't go to Baltimore for the culture. He went to Baltimore, I think, because everybody thought that they were going to be the team, and they ended up being the team. So if it's not going to work there, bring him here. We brought in Kareem Hunt. It seems to be working fine.
Yeah, I mean that's true.
We signed like Kareem Hunt, Dwayne Bowe, Kenny Britt. I mean, let's keep going. I mean, we've taken our
the
shot.
one guy killed a guy.
Yeah,
I mean, the one guy killed a
Dante
guy.
Fowler.
Yeah. No, I should be laughing.
That's right.
Here,
Oh, geez,
There's
man, Jake.
good old Jake Newsom coming in hot.
Jake the Snake.
Where's the, I don't know, 12-0 or I don't know, 12 and 0.
That ain't
Tom
that
Brady
far-fetched,
lives forever.
after what I'm seeing.
I'm waiting for it. It's coming. But yeah,
But hey, there's other options at safety for the Browns. Logan Ryan's a great culture guy. He's a good safety. Yep. He can come in there and play. And there's one guy that no one's really talking about that I'd kind of be excited about. And he played ball with OBJ and Jarvis at LSU. And that guy's name is Eric Reed. And Eric Reed is fresh right now. I mean, Eric Reed famously knelt with Colin Kaepernick and didn't face near the ramifications that the latter faced. But Eric Reed later went on to play for the Panthers and had a pretty good season. But I really think that relationship with OBJ and Jarvis would benefit. And he's got that San Francisco connection with Joe Woods.
Whoever Cleveland brings in is going to be a rental player.
Yeah,
that's the simple fact of it.
About any relationships, I don't give a damn about anybody's this or that. Here's what we need. I need a safety who is going to cover our nosy corners because we have nosy corners. So we need a safety that is going to at least you're either going to scare wide receivers into not catching the ball, which is what Earl Thomas will do, or cover everything every time our corners get beat because they're going for the big play or get nosy with the run. So you got Greedy Williams on one side who goes for the interception far too often, who believes in his hand way, way too much.
I mean, his first name is Greedy.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He's
helpless.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, right.
And then on the other side, we've got our Ohio State boy, who's the nosiest corner in the league. You know what I mean?
He loves interceptions. I mean, he's not bad at cover. He's not bad.
He's pretty nosy. Pretty
That's
nosy.
What I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He needs to be more disciplined.
Yeah, yeah. Sure. And that's why you need those safeties in the back. Mm-hmm. So you can live with that because he does have the speed to catch up. He does have the speed to make up, and he's a great corner. But if you have an average safety back there, he's going to get burnt more times than not. If there's nobody to get him out of trouble, we've got trouble, and that's one of the biggest. And let's not forget our abysmal linebacking core.
Well,
I had an answer for that.
They just signed. What's his name? Malcolm Smith, who was the MVP of the Super Bowl 2 years ago, I think it was.
Yeah, about 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So played 2 years with Dallas, 2 years with Carolina, I think it was.
I'll take Bernie Madoff, aka Michael Kendricks, back. Bring him on back, baby. White collar crime.
They talked about it. They talked about it. Yeah.
Listen,
I mean, he did his time, right?
Well, not yet. He hasn't done his time yet. He hasn't done his time.
Oh,
it's still all pending. It's all still alleged. You know what I mean? It's
allegedly
all thing. But hey, listen, we keep talking about how thin we are at linebacker. Well, here's the thing: Jadeveon Clowney is still on the market, and he's set, and it keeps coming out he doesn't want to come to Cleveland. I don't care who you are. If I give you a 1-year, $26 million deal, let's say, how are you going to say no to that? And then you can move Olivier Vernon to outside linebacker, and we just solve the problem. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, we solved the problem. Or put Jadeveon Clowney at outside linebacker. $26 million for 1 year. Who says no? Because it's not going to affect you next year.
Because here's the key that I think you're not taking into account, Tom. It looks good on paper. And it's a great move in Madden. But you look at Olivier Vernon. Olivier Vernon is an average end. On his best days in Cleveland, he's been an average end.
Yeah.
if we change his position, what makes us believe that he's going to be anything but average?
Because he was a Pro Bowler at outside linebacker for the Miami Dolphins.
So you think that if we change his position back to what he played, what would that be? 6 seasons? 4 seasons?
About 3 or 4 seasons ago.
4 seasons ago, that he's going to get back into that, because I just don't. My thing is, and it has been since the beginning with Olivier Vernon, we'll see you, bud. I don't care what we get. I want somebody young. I'd rather be, if we're gonna have a guy go out there and learn the position, and we're gonna take a shot on somebody, I want to take a shot on somebody that there's some upside. You know what I mean?
Oh, sure.
With Vernon, I don't see that. So you know what they got to do? You're gonna have to, like you just said, peel them, brother. Start spending that money, because there's one championship in Cleveland, and the only way we got that championship was by mortgaging the farm. And that's what we're going to have to do in all sports, really. Hint, hint, Cleveland Indians.
Cleveland Indians are a whole other topic I can go into, and I'm itching one day for us to touch on that, but I understand there's some more pressing issues right now. So, but God, I'm salivating to go over the Indians. Like, it's just literally dripping from my mouth to go to it. I wish. But the show must go on.
That's right. Sorry, I had my wife was trying to tell me something. I had to disappear.
By the way,
I'm not gonna beat around the bush on that one. But
I'm always talking about swag and drip on this show, and usually I'm hyping myself up. But I gotta shout out Sammy tonight. Gold chain, gold earrings, brother. You are looking. Dare I say, you are looking like Paul Rudd's friend in Ant-Man right now. You are looking like Paul Rudd's friend in Ant-Man right now. I don't remember if Michael Conneaut. No, that's
I call this wrong. Brentwood, Long Island chic, baby.
Listen, today, when you bring up swag, is the only reason why I bring this up. Today, I realized I'm becoming that old guy that just buys the wrong shoes but doesn't care. And these aren't the ones from yesterday I showed you guys. But by the way, whatever those things are called, what did I? Joyrides or something like that by Nike. Super nice shoe. I'm not trying to advocate for Nike, but they're nice. Wore them for 10 hours today. They felt great, but we will. Second thing, I bought these, and I wore these today, and I'm pretty sure they are like my era of Nike Monarchs. And we're gonna bring them up.
Oh no, dude, those are nice. Those are nice.
They are Air Maxes.
Got Air Max tech in them.
While I'm wearing them today, I thought to myself, I looked down and I said, pretty much that I'm becoming an old fart. And after I bought them and I looked at them and I really evaluated my decision, I figured out that was the wrong decision. But I'm not driving back to return them. I'm just going to wear them like the champion that I am. That's just Ryan, what it is. So
listen, Ryan, sometimes when that happens, you just got to channel this thought that I heard from a wise man once. You can be a man of many losses, but you'll never be a loser. So just think about that, and you'll be good.
Yes.
That was Big Body Best from Action Bronson show. Expletive that's delicious. I'm not going to say it, but if you've seen it on Viceland, Big Body said it, and that's my idol.
When you put those shoes on, you immediately start worrying about your lawn. You're like, when's the last time I did that thing, man? Lawn's getting out of control. What's going on?
Speaking, and the price was right. You're right, Sconey. That's part of the. They were 20% off. That caught the twinkle in my eye. Okay, but secondly, Jake asked what happened to the Grill Maxes, aka the Ponderosa Specials. I do still have them. They are officially my lawn mowing shoes now. I took them off on Monday, and the smell was so bad I had no choice. I had to just put them away for good. They're on their way out the door. I figured about another 2 months of mowing left, so when that is done with is when I will pitch them for good.
Get you a 0 turn. All right. Get you a 0 turn.
I own a quarter of an acre. I am not buying a 0 turn.
Not even. Not be one off the Hey, listen. My house is about to be a per acre. I'm already at Lowe's checking that out, man. I'm already looking at financing options.
I would have zero dirt. If I had a New York square of grass in my front yard, I would be on my zero form like this.
Oh no. All right, let's move into the one thing I wanted to talk about. So I'm listening to 92.3 The Fan. I think I don't know if did I forget an E on Odell? I feel like I screwed that up. Wouldn't be surprised.
No, but you put an apostrophe where there shouldn't be one.
Why is that there?
He's not O'Shea Jackson. He's Odell Beckham.
Whatever. I don't know. I don't even know. Yeah, we were in a rush. We had 1 minute left. Let me just take that down. But anyways, listening to the show, 92.3 The Fan this morning, they talked about, they had Odell on there, I think around noon today, and he was complimenting Baker on his 4-pack, which I thought was quite humorous given the whole situation that we went through last season through this season about Baker being not ready in football shape, quote unquote. So just had to bring that up in some facet. Those are weed whacking shoes. I'm sorry, I just read that.
I want to go ahead and put this out there that the Cleveland Indians are up 4-2 on the Minnesota Twins right now, bottom of the 6th.
That's a feast of famine offense, baby.
Bottom of the 6th right now. Jose Ramirez is 2 for 3. Franmil Reyes is also 2 for 3. Tyler Naquin's annoying ass is 1 for 1.
Stop.
And
He's
Shane Bieber is out there dealing with 10Ks already. So I have never hated anybody more than Tyler Naquin for no other reason than that stupid ass picture where he's like, I just want to throw a bat at his face. It's the worst. And the fact that he drops run-of-the-mill fly balls in the outfield. Oh, like that does it for me. I'm done with Tyler Naquin. So you guys can all love your bro. I can't stand him.
Dude, he's a bro, man. Like that's why I love him. He's just a bro. That's a dude that I'd go have a orange juice with on a Sunday.
You know who else was a bro? Nick Swisher, and he sucked.
Yo,
Nick Swisher wasn't that bad. I think he was injured half of his career. And then he signed with the New York Yankees to a $1 trillion deal, whatever that was.
By the time we got him, he was beer league Nick Swisher. We didn't get Nick Swisher the Yankee.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't get the Atlanta Brave Nick Swisher. We got Nick Swisher hanging out with you, me, Ryan at doubling down, having a couple beverages. Nick Swisher.
We got Uncle Rico Swisher.
we got
Uncle Rico.
We got Uncle Nicky. Oh my God, there's a name right there, Darren Heineke. That dude can party. He used to be my manager.
Sorry, I will be right back. The next topic, just click the link there, guys. I'm sorry. My wife's having an issue with something. I'll be right back.
Okay. So what's the next topic, Sammy? Let's get into it.
Yeah, you got it. Actually, it's a good thing that he's out because the next topic we were going to talk about is NBA, which he knows absolutely nothing about.
Well, this is perfect.
So the first thing I think we got to talk about is Dame Dash is out, which sucks.
Yeah.
He's probably my favorite point guard in I guess in the veteran sense. My favorite point guard in the league at this point is John Morant. That's my guy.
Oh, he's dope.
Yeah, that's definitely who I'm pulling for. Hold on. Thank you very much. A compliment towards a compliment to my daughter, Gianna, doing a good job tonight, getting her scoring some points out there on the court. So thank you for noticing. And you guys are probably right. That's probably what it was.
Listen, she's coming off of an ACL injury, isn't she?
Yes, she is. So she's getting used to
comeback player of the year.
She's getting used to the praise and all that other good stuff with it too. But yeah, getting back to Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard is a certified killer. It's a damn shame that he goes out, but I think that pretty much closes the book on their season this year.
Oh, without a doubt. Like you said, Damian Lillard is one of the best point guards in the NBA, but he's also very crucial to that offense that Terry Stotts runs. He's predicated on a 2-guard system that has McCollum or Lillard facilitating all the ball movement on the court. Okay, so when you take that away, all you're doing is having CJ McCollum facilitate that. And and this is sacrilegious, I don't even know who the backup point guard for the Blazers is at this point, but I dang sure know that he's not scoring and driving to the lane like Lillard is for kickouts to set up threes, pick and pops, that kind of thing, which is what Stotts' offense is predicated on. And Yusuf Nurkic gets going because of Dame.
I liken it to the Golden State setup.
Oh, sure.
Steph goes down and Clay can't carry that team.
No.
They're nice pieces. They're exceptional at what they do, but they need somebody to set it up. These guys aren't moving. Damian Lillard can do whatever he wants, wherever he wants. He's that type of player. Yeah. McCollum is somebody who is going to benefit off somebody like Lillard. That's why it makes sense that they play together. Yeah. It doesn't help that they're going against the Lakers, who are an absolute freight train at this point. The worst thing you can do to LeBron James is start talking about him and doubting him in the playoffs. And when the dude turns on, he turns on, and there's nobody that can stop him. Nobody.
It's over.
There's a guy that plays for the Bucks that is a hell of a matchup for him.
Yeah. Chris Middleton? Mr. Defensive Player of the Year today.
That is my dream matchup right there. I think would be great. I don't know. I think right. Yeah. Yes, he is. I thought there were 64. I think that I think the Lakers are going to move past fairly easily now. Anybody who doesn't, I would love to hear why, because without Damian Lillard, they're done. So
the only thing I can see, and it's it's a pipe dream. You know how I like to throw out these wild scenarios. The only thing I can see is if Luka just transforms into, like, this is a horrible example. You might not get it. No one else might get it. But Luka Doncic goes Super Saiyan, pretty much. Like, he just explodes. And this dude's averaging like 50 points, 15 rebounds, and 10 assists a night. That's the only way it's going to happen. That's his only competition. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the Mavericks are going to beat the Clippers, man. He's going to be a problem for LeBron. Because Luka does things LeBron hasn't seen.
I just don't see it. Luka's a hell of a player. I just don't see that. I don't see. I know what you're saying. He has played well beyond what people thought he was going to be able to do, because he is giving the Clippers and Kawhi all they can handle.
Yeah.
I think it would be funny to watch the Clippers get beat out, since everybody thought that they were the team to beat. This year. I'll be honest with you.
Absolutely.
Which, moving on to the team that beat the team to beat to the team that everybody seems to beat, which is Philly. They just cannot get it right there.
Oh God in heaven!
Joel Embiid going out and laying another egg, first round. They talk a great game in Philly. They really do. They should be better than they are.
Oh yeah.
I think Ben Simmons sucks. I've always thought that. I don't know what people see in him. He is a untalented point guard that's oversized, which, like, I mean, you can take any Tristan Thompson, give him the ball. He can be a point guard too. You know what I mean? For as well as he. So I think that they tied their horse to the wrong guy there. They need to give. Can you imagine Embiid and Luka on the same team?
It would be absolutely disgusting to see Embiid and Luka on the same.
I mean, because Porzingis and Luka already are a nice combo. You give somebody like Embiid, a true center, who you have to pay attention down there, and then Luka's going to be open all the time. Oh my God, knock it off.
Could you imagine Embiid with a real efficient scorer? So, Damian Lillard, Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal would be a disgusting teammate for Joel Embiid because Beal actually plays defense.
Yeah, but I put Beal. Beal is McCollum to me. I mean, he's a great scorer, man. He's a great scorer. I don't like him carrying. I don't like him running the offense. I like him going off screens. I like him shooting. He is a good defender. You're absolutely right. So maybe Klay Thompson is a better comparison.
Klay. Yeah, there you go.
He's Klay Thompson. But I don't like him as the guard. I don't like him as the primary mover of the ball. I mean.
So we actually
you're on the ticket because he needs a scorer. He needs a scorer. Like you can't put Patrick Beverly with him. You know what I mean? That's not gonna work.
No, he'd be in the same exact situation. So the thing is Ben Simmons needs to go somewhere where he can where he doesn't need to be the scorer and he can just be the point guard. A perfect place for Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons needs to not be a point guard
on the Lakers. Ben Simmons on the Lakers would be prolific.
Ben Simmons needs to not be a point guard. Ben Simmons is 6'10". Ben Simmons needs to take his ass to the post or go to the wing where he belongs. He's not that great with the ball either. It's very hard to get into him because he's so long. But he doesn't. I mean, I don't see it with Ben Simmons. I still don't get why everybody is tying all this hype to him. I don't get it.
Rose-colored lenses, man. Number one college, number one.
Yeah, because he was supposed to come out. And I think, I mean, I'll be honest with you. Giannis is better with the ball in his hands than him.
Giannis is better than most people with the ball in his hands. Giannis is probably next to LeBron.
So, obviously, everyone knows I don't follow basketball much, but I seen the Utah Jazz. Have you guys talked about them? Like they seem like they're coming out of nowhere. I don't know. It just the way the news is talking about them. Are they winning this series, or am I thinking of a different team? Am I saying this wrong? Just tell me if I am.
No, you
like it just like the last time I knew the Utah Jazz were relevant in any way, shape, or form. There you go, Sammy. Was when Karl Malone and John Stockton played on the team. That was the last time I thought of them as being relevant, and I know that they're in the playoffs, and it seems like they're making a pretty good push. And then also, the guy from I can't ever say his name from Milwaukee. Aren't they in Milwaukee losing their series right now?
Yeah. Well, see, the problem is Utah and Denver are in a knockdown drag-out series going back and forth.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And while it is good basketball, the problem is I don't think anybody believes that either one of those teams is going to win their next series or even going to be able to compete in the next series. So, so that's why people aren't really giving them a lot of time. Donovan Mitchell is a hell of a player. I like him a lot.
Spider.
But Utah just they're very pedestrian. It's a very pedestrian team.
If Utah had Kevin Love with Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, they would be leagues better and they'd be contenders, I think. But as it stands right now, they're getting by on Gobert's fantastic defense and Mitchell's freakish ability to score. But if a guy like Kevin Love, Al Horford was on that team, it'd be a whole different animal. It'd be a whole different
Kevin Love sucks. Stop it, Tom. You stop it now. Don't you act like you don't live in Northeast Ohio and haven't watched him be absolutely awful here. You stop it right now, Tom.
Glasses are coming off. I can't even see right now because I don't want to see you. Okay? You're a blur. Ryan, you're a blur. Everything's a blur right now. Could be the concussion. I don't know. But listen, if Utah had a stretch four, this would be a totally different animal.
You're right about the stretch four, but Kevin Love ain't a stretch anything. Kevin Love is a stretch NBA player. It's a stretch to think he's still in the league.
Good night. All right, guys. It is now, 9:23.
Yeah, let's get to the real reason people are tuning in tonight. We got to talk to Coach Rocco.
Let's do it.
Let's go to, let's hit the business of the day real quick, go to our quick 4-minute break, and then let's bring Rocco on. So I'm going to throw up the image, and one of you guys take over. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Boom!
So tonight's business of the day, in honor of having Conneaut head coach Rocco Dobrin on, we are going to do Break Wall Barbecue in Conneaut, Ohio. So Break Wall Barbecue, I've actually had some of the food from there through some of my friends who have been there. It's great food, and one of the best things about it is you will not find a better overlook while you are eating. Getting to look over gorgeous Lake Erie out there. One of the things I always have to talk about as soon as people bring up Breakwall is they have this smoked tea. And if you have not tried it, you really should. It's absolutely delicious and unlike anything you're ever going to drink. So Breakwall Barbecue is located right on the lake in Conneaut. So their hours, they do have a Facebook page as well as a website. So if you want to go check out the hours and the phone number to get a hold of them, go check them out. But Breakwall Barbecue is our business of the day here on 440 and Gold.
All right, guys. We're going to take a quick 4-minute break like we always do. And when we come back, we'll have the head coach of the Conneaut Spartans on. See you guys here in a couple minutes.
Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the rejection.
Cleveland, this is for you.
Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, 4-4 and go. That other getting old. We got Sam right in time. This is a sports octagon. Sports for forever and beyond. Spending with Sam Ryan time. From the puck to the glove to the pigskins high. Share all your thoughts, just let it ride. Down the baseline in the bleachers, or you wanna get denied? Yeah, share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. 4-0 and go. Come hit it, clench your soul. Yeah, it's 4-0 and go. Come hit it, clench your soul.
For the Browns Super Bowl contenders.
Hey, listen, when we start talking about what wins Super Bowl, we talk about talent. The Browns, they have the talent. They have it.
All right, guys, welcome back to the second half of episode 42, featuring the Conneaut Spartans head coach, Rocco. Why can't I always
Dobrin.
Am I saying that right? Dobrin. I'm so sorry. So without further ado, before I screw anything else up even more, let's bring them on. Everyone, welcome in. Let's just go this route. Everyone, welcome in, Coach Rock. Let me unmute his mic. Perfect. How you doing, Coach?
Good, Coach. How are you, man?
Great.
Good.
Yeah, doing great. Hey, I want to apologize first and foremost for screwing up your name twice. Not once, but twice. So I do apologize with great sincerity.
I go by Coach Rock because, a lot of people mess up my last name, so it's okay. It's okay.
Always forgiven.
From this point for moving forward, it's Coach Rock for me. I know that. Welcome to the show. How's your night going, Coach?
It's going good. Just listening to you guys, having a good time.
Heck yeah, man.
Great.
Yeah,
Great to hear it.
We certainly are super happy we could get you on here. It's been a cool week. Got to get some stories from you, and gonna be a cool night. Cool night for sure.
All right, let's dive into it, man. So let's talk about you a little bit, Coach. Let's talk about you. I know you've been with Conneaut for 10 years, but maybe a little bit about your past. What you've done and why you've done it. Let's go that route.
Okay. So I played football at Poland High School in Youngstown area.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then went on to Muskingum College, played football at Muskingum College. It's a small D3 school. It's a little bit east of Columbus, about 50 minutes east of Columbus. So we were in like Mount Union, John Carroll, Baldwin Wallace.
Okay.
They always whooped on us pretty much, but it was a good 4-year experience playing football still. You love the game, you still play at that level. It's a good time. And then my coach at Poland got the head coaching job at Massillon, Washington, which is like big time football now, like big time Ohio, football. So when I graduated Muskingum, my first coaching job as I started off 7th and 8th grade coach was at Massillon, Washington. So you can't really start off at a better spot just to learn the game and to have that true football atmosphere. They still give their little baby boys a little football when you're born. They put it in your crib. So it's crazy down there. So it's good to be an assistant coach, but not a head coach because there's too much pressure for the head coach down there.
Yeah, I bet there is. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, so I kind of went up the ladder there a little bit and I was there for 5 years, 1 year varsity. And then the head coach left and I got married. So 2 things happened at the same time, which moved me to Marion, Ohio. I lived in Delaware and I was coaching Marion, so it's north of Columbus, about 40 minutes. And that's where I really learned the game as far as I got to be a coordinator, got to be a defensive coordinator, and just kind of learn the game there. And then I wanted to be a head coach, and I started the interview process for about 2 or 3 years there. And then I kind of lucked into finding the Conneaut job because it was like a last minute deal. And my buddy called me and he said, "Hey, Conneaut?" He goes, "They have a job opening and it's posted on ODE when most schools posted on OHSAA." And then the deadline was the next day. So I ended up calling them. I called them and applied, and then things worked out. And I kind of knew of Conneaut, kind of like you guys said earlier, just because when I was in Youngstown growing up, we'd go to Township Park, but sometimes we'd go to Geneva, sometimes we'd go to Township Park, sometimes Presque Isle, and then sometimes Conneaut on the lake. So I didn't know if it was like, wait, is this Conneaut on the lake or is it Conneaut? Like I wasn't sure which one. But, what is it? What exactly is it? but then, so, did the interview process and got hired. And then now 10 years later, I'm still there. So it's kind of I kind of thought it would be a stepping stone job, take your first job, turn the program around a little bit, and then move on. But to this point, I fell in love with this town and the community. So I really no thought of moving at this point. So things are going well.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a great background there, man. Great background.
So, Coach, we talk about the head coach and how you got your position and everything, but the one thing that a lot of us like to know about is your assistant coaches. So could you talk about that a little bit, like just like the process, like what you look for in an assistant coach? What your interview process is kind of like. How do you choose the men that you have helped you lead young men?
There are some things I look for. I mean, obviously, I want, number one, they got to be loyal to the program. They got to be about the program. If they want to talk to me about stuff, they want to talk bad to their wives about it, that's okay. But if you're in public, you got to be talking 100 positive about the program and what we're doing. And then as far as I look at, my first thing is, can you build relationships with players? Can you get players to trust you, love you, fall in love with you? If they have a problem, if they get in trouble at midnight, are they calling one of my assistant coaches? You know what I'm saying? I want the type of coaches that are going to be there for the kids, and that type of thing. And I kind of fell into some good coaches. And the reality of it is, when I was coaching at Massillon, if you're the head coach at Massillon, you pick your staff. You can get guys from different states. You can get, hey, I'm bringing this guy with me. I'm bringing this guy, where Conneaut, it's not, all the Ashtabula County schools, it's not like that. It's, okay, well, we're not hiring coaches as teachers anymore. We're not hiring, you can't just bring in who you want to bring in. So you kind of see who's interested. And then, I think we just work well to get to know each other and how things work. And I was very fortunate to get a bunch of guys that came to me and wanted to be on staff, that are just good guys, good coaches. Half of my staff is actually head coaches for other sports. So they know what I'm going through as a head coach. They know that it's not just if you've never been a head coach, there's a lot of things we deal with that an assistant coach, like when I was an assistant coach, I'd yell at my head coach, "What are you doing?" But I didn't understand from his point of view. All my guys understand what I'm doing because they've been head coaches on other teams, So it's a great thing. And we put together a great staff. They're very loyal. They're very good at building relationships with kids, and they all have their own special strengths that kind of complement each other. We got the guys that are more energetic, the guys that are more laid back. We got a couple of guys that are, they're the more organized guys, and it kind of blends well together.
That's awesome, man.
So one of the things when you come in, and it's a kind of a similar story to what was going around countywide. You seem to kind of at 10 years ago really start the trend, I guess, of moving away from what we'll call the old school offense of run, pass, punt to what you run, which is essentially a spread. But as you're coming into a team that had run a wing tee and had been established for a wing tee for quite a while. What were some of the kind of hurdles and stuff you had to get around with that? Because not only running backs and stuff like that, I mean, you got to find wide receivers. You have to teach, linemen that, pass blocking is different, those sort of things. What were some of the things you kind of had to deal with and put Rocco's spin on it?
First of all, it was my first head coaching job. So it was a learning curve for myself first. But I came in, we were going to spread it out. I was running a lot of the things we did at Massillon. And we had to develop receivers quick. And even though my spread is kind of run the ball, like spread them out and run. But because like you said, I mean, even the shoulder pads, when I got here, every shoulder pad was to fit a tight end or a running back or a lineman. There was no like the cutout receiver or running, or, receiver or quarterback or any of that type of stuff. But so it was just developing receivers. If I had a receiver catch 5 balls here, they thought that was like a great year. Hey, I caught 5 balls. I had mothers thinking their kids should go to Division I because they caught 4 or 5 passes when I first got here. So that's the reality of it, you know. But it was really what we've done over the long haul is develop the receiver type athlete. And I think our coaches staff has done a good job with that. And to be honest with you, like I said, I came in and I tried to do everything. I tried to do so much stuff my first 2 years. And then after year two, kind of the second half of year two, I'm, kind of some mentors of mine, plus my, things we saw in film. I'm like, we're doing way too much. I just try to put in a lot for, like you said, a totally new group, a totally new offense for these kids. And I was just doing too much. So by the end of the second half of year two and into year three, we really simplified. We said, hey, can we make the linemen do as little as possible? So even today, 10 years later, our linemen need to learn 4 running plays. Every once in a while, we run a 5th, but it's really 4 running plays and 1 to 2 pass protections. And then in the backfield, we make it look like 20 different plays. We can run power, which is your down scheme wrapping a guard. We can run power, but in the backfield, we can make it look like really like 7 different plays. We can run straight power. We can run power with a kick. We can run power read. We can run power sweep where we sweep our back and the quarterback runs it. We can run power option. But for the linemen, they're just running power. They're running the same play no matter what. And then it just looks different in the backfield. And I think that confuses defenses it's confusing defenses, but it's simple for us. So what we did is we got a spread system and we simplified. And the other thing we started doing year 2 to 3 is we go no huddle all the time, but it's not a fast no huddle. It's no huddle. See what the defense gives you, find the opening, and then we call the play. So it's just trying to find, hey, where is there more grass? Hey, this corner's off more than 8 yards. We're throwing a hitch. That corner's up tight. We're throwing a fade. It's real. How can we just simplify instead of making it complicated? Like, a lot of teams try to make it complicated. Some are good at it. Some are not good at it. We just try to simplify. So
you do a lot of your play calling right on the fly then.
Yeah.
Like so you're literally it sounds like the formation stays the same, but you're, I don't know, tapping your head, hitting this. No, you guys get to use mic now, right? Like the quarterback has a mic. The quarterback has a speaker or whatever it's called in the helmet, right? Or
no, not yet.
No?
That'll be soon in high school football, but not yet.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah. So you got like, your elbows, arms, making weird noises and sounds and arms.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, actually.
My assistant coaches still don't know my signals. They're like, "What the heck is that mean?" But the players know. Players know.
You're the D-line coach. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. It's all fun, but yeah, that's it. It's hey, get up there, line up, and see what the defense gives you, and then try to hit their weak spots.
Yeah. So speaking of assistants, I know you touched on it a little bit, but I want to give you the floor. If you could shout them out a little bit, we like to talk about them specifically. Who you got, who's the OC or in DC and all that fun stuff. If you want to talk about them and say what they do and maybe give a strength of what's going on with them.
Yeah, I'll start off with Tim Talbacca as our head basketball coach.
Hey, we know Timmy D.
Yeah,
we know Timmy
baby.
Yeah.
We love some Timmy. Sorry.
Tim talks really fast, right? He talks really fast.
Yeah.
He repeats himself, talks fast. But he's the organizational guy. He keeps me organized. He's very detailed, and you need that. But he's our defensive coordinator and really our special teams coordinator, because he was our special teams coordinator and our defense coordinator last year had to back off because of his work schedule. So he just kind of took the reins on both of those things, and just does a fantastic job. And he's 100% go all the time. He never stops. So Tim's been great. We have Bill Lips. He was at Lakeside for a year, right?
Yes, he was.
Yes, he was.
He's our head baseball coach now.
Oh, cool.
He's been there. He's run that kind of show, but he's our guy that he just builds great relationships with the kids. Like he's that guy on the field that can yell at you and scream at you, but that kid knows he loves them. You know what I mean? Because 10 seconds later, he's making a joke or cracking a joke, making the whole offensive line laugh, making the whole defensive line. I mean, that's what he does, offensive and defensive line. So, but I mean, I would say since he's been here, there's been several years where like, hey, our weakness might be the offensive line this year. And then, by week 4, we're like, nope, not a weakness at all. So that pays tribute to how well he does with those guys and really getting them to where they need to be. But, every kid might tell you he yells the most, but every kid, if you say, hey, do you like Coach Lips? I'm like, oh, I love him. I love him. So he builds that kind of relationships with the players. Tony Passanen is I think he's a Harvard guy. See, all these guys have ties. But Tony Passanen is the girls' head basketball coach, and he does our linebackers and our running backs. Tony is the guy that he was the 7th and 8th grade coach when I came in, and I interviewed him, and like we became good friends out the gate. And to this day, he's probably one of my best friends here. And when you're coaching with a good friend of yours, there's no BS. You know what I mean? So not only with me, he tells me, hey, here's what's going on straight up. Here's how it is. He's also that way with the players. Like he's no nonsense as far as he's going to tell you the truth, whether you want to hear it or not. Great coach, great with kids. He's another coach that, hey, come over to my house swimming for like the players, or we'll have a cookout. We're going to do special awards. But he's always thinking of creative ideas to keep kids motivated. And like I said, he's one of my best friends. And so like when you're coaching with one of your best friends, it's just, you're on the same page a lot. And if I'm going in and slipping in the wrong direction, he ain't scared to tell me, hey, maybe we should do this, or, he's just being honest with me, which is always a key thing. And then we got a young guy that just kind of added to the staff last year is Eric Hodges. He's a Spanish teacher. He was actually a soccer player at Edgewood. So when I asked him to coach, we needed an extra guy, and he was like, oh, I don't know anything about football. I said, just what I said to you, I said, hey, I noticed the kids talk about you in Spanish class. They like you. I said, if you can build relationships with kids, like all you got to do is be a motivator and then be someone there. Well, 2 years in, he's learned a lot of football, and he's done a great job, and he's been fantastic for us. Every day he learns a little bit more. He'll pull a kid aside and talk to him. So if a kid's getting yelled at by this coach, or a kid's getting yelled at by this coach, then he could be that coach that pulls him aside and said, hey, everything's good. It's going to go good here. And he can kind of motivate you in that way. He's done an excellent job for us. That's the core of our staff. We do have 2 guys that help and without getting paid. And to those guys, all the credit in the world, because they're not getting paid. They're going to show up when they can. Teddy Johnson's been a long time Conneaut guy. He was on like the 85 team that went to the playoffs. And he is a fiery, he's, get after it. Big, huge, strong guy that no one would ever mess with. And he shows up when he can show up. When he shows up, it's a whole new level of intensity for the defensive line. Because he gets all over them guys, and it's the same thing. The kids love it though. They're like, he brings that energy to practice. So when he's there, it's great. And then John Rice started helping us last year, and he helped us with the younger levels. His son's a special player for us. He's a sophomore. But John just adds another layer of, hey, another guy that knows these kids. He knows some of the younger kids better than I do because he's coached them from down here, so he can give me all the insights coming into what they have. And that's kind of the bulk of what we have going as assistant coaches.
Yeah, and Coach, you one of the things you talked about when you were going through your staff is with Rice and dealing with the younger players. We've asked every coach this because one of the things that I know I believe in the panel as well is that establishing those kids at a younger age helps at the high school level. So how much involvement do you have with, like, say, I don't know if Conneaut participates in the Freeway League, but the Freeway League as well as the junior high. Are you guys implementing some kind of like, this is the type of offense you're going to run, this is the type of defense you're going to run, a dumbed down version so the kids can at least get it together? Or how does Conneaut approach youth sports?
Yeah, absolutely. It's when I came in, it was a immediate concern. The first couple of years, we put on clinics. We do like coaching clinics for their coaches. Through the years, it's been hot and cold with who's in charge of that league. So they always say that they're going to do, what I want them to do, and then sometimes they have, sometimes they haven't. I always make it a point though to be visible. I'm going to go to a couple of their games. I'm going to be on the sidelines. I've talked at their banquets, and that kind of thing. And then I give suggestions. And now my kids are at the age of they're getting involved. So actually right now I'm actually helping coach one of the teams. And that wasn't the plan, but because of COVID, they were short coaches and kind of stuff. So like today, I went from getting ready for my practice to that practice, then I ran the CLYO practice. So, going straight from varsity to youth. But so now I'm really involved, but it was part to keep that team running because there was some talk of maybe not having a team because of lack of coaches and should we do it with the whole COVID situation. But we kept it going and that's got me more involved. But the nice thing with them is most years they've practiced on our practice field, and a lot of times it follows our practice. So we'd always say, hey, today the juniors, you go down and give every one of them little kids a high five and tell them you want to be a Spartan, you want them to be a future Spartan, that kind of thing. We've had them involved in like parades and stuff, and we make sure our kids get intertwined with their kids and give them high fives and that kind of thing. So we're trying to make them excited. I mean, it's all about recruiting. If you can recruit kids at that age, it's the better. And I think the best thing that we've done since I've been here, the philosophy that's changed in youth football, at least we're trying to, and most years it is, from when I got here to now, is a lot of those dad coaches that you get down there, when I first came here, they want to win. They want to win the Super Bowl, the Freeway League. Where my philosophy is, we always want to win. I mean, who doesn't want to win? But if you win every game and win the Super Bowl, but those kids hate football, then what good is that? So you work their tails off. They hated it. Their parents didn't let them quit. You won a Super Bowl, but then no kids come out and play football again. That doesn't help me. I want guys, coaches that are going to make football fun. Make it fun. Make sure everyone plays. That kid that stinks right now might be a stud in a couple of years because he hasn't developed yet. That kid that's great right now might be done developing and be a terrible high school player. So, or he might think he's great and not work hard, so he never gets better. So I tell them, hey, you got to play everybody. You got to get as many kids on this team, make it fun, and hopefully winning comes with that. But if it doesn't, what's important is they play the next year. And I definitely got my middle school to that spot. So my middle school used to have like 13 kids at one point. Now they're, up to like 28 kids. But like every kid from last year's middle school team came out this year except for one, for 8th grade up. So I told my coach, you did your job because all them kids played again. So that's all that I care about. It's make it fun at that level. And then when they get in 9th grade, we'll be more strict about competitiveness, and really winning. But youth level, make it fun. Middle school's the transition, fun and competitive. And then high schools, it's, you better be passionate if you're going to play in high school because it's a lot of time.
Yeah. One of the things that you get with your, especially in your position, because you've been around a while, you get the benefit of getting a whole class underneath of you, and you've got your guys now. You've gotten guys from, I would say, from junior high now to probably seniors that where you've known these kids and stuff like that. Yeah. And it leads to last year, you guys putting up an absolute monster of a year at 9-1. Senior heavy team last year.
Yes. Very senior heavy team. Special class, and going back to what you're saying, and it's a teaching point to future kids, and they've already, that class has done a lot for already this year and the next year because people saw their work ethic. But that class, when they were in like 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, we're seeing the new success that we were having or whatever it was, But those kids, anywhere from like 4 to 8 of them, we would see running I don't know if you know the Bluffs, the big, huge hill in Conneaut by the beach, the D-Day Hill.
Oh, okay.
We run that hill on Wednesdays as a team. But those kids from last year's class were running that hill on their own and back in 7th and 8th grade. And then 4 years later, it ends up being one of the best classes we had. And it wasn't just coincidence that those kids were good. They worked hard as 7th and 8th graders, and then that work ethic carried over to 4 years later being the best team I coached. And they were all smart. I think there was out of 13 kids or 14 kids, we had 11 of them over a 3.0. And that we don't get in Conneaut very often. Usually if you have 13 seniors, maybe only 4 or 5 are over a 3.0, not 10, so it was definitely a special class for sure.
One of the guys that actually stood out as we reviewed some film and watched some of your games, which were, they were very entertaining to watch because you guys scored and you scored a lot.
72-yard runs, 55-yard runs.
You guys opened it up for sure. As you guys had a really special quarterback in number 8. Kid had a nice arm, could run all over, and seemed to command your offense very well. Did he end up going to college, or what was his story?
Yeah, he got a partial scholarship, pretty good deal at Mercyhurst. So he's at Mercyhurst right now.
Very good.
Very cool.
He's one of the first kids that we had a true scholarship type kid at a Division II school. When we had another kid at 2 NAI, Hunter Dale, they got just about a full scholarship. I think everything but room and board at a 2 NAI school last year too, or this from that class. He was our defensive end and tackle. But those 2 kids in 10 years are probably the first 2 kids they got that's some scholarship money at a D2 level, which is pretty impressive.
That's amazing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
To be able to have that success, that's going to facilitate a whole new generation of students to aspire to something more because they see it happening. It's quantifiable at that point. It's so great to have that empowerment for these kids,
Absolutely. And with Rylan, he had that work ethic. Rylan always worked on his dad, had him work on his own as a kid. But once he hit going into his junior year, it was self-motivated. So he made sure every single day, he didn't miss a day of a workout, whether it was lifting, running, doing agilities, whatever. And going into his senior year, I said, okay, so you're doing the right stuff. But if you want to be a leader, you bring others with you. That's what a leader is, not you doing it, but you bring in. And he bought into that, and he brought a bunch of kids that some seniors, but some that are now juniors and even sophomores, he brought with him. And then this whole offseason, he was preparing for Mercyhurst. So he still had our players working out with him, some of our best players right now. As soon as they were out of quarantine, they were there 4 or 5 days a week, getting up at 6 a.m, doing a workout, and then coming to my practice. But Rylan kind of spearheaded that whole thing. So it's and then now my kids doing it now. Hopefully continue that with kids in the next couple of years. So it'll hopefully affect it, just keep circling around with kids working hard on their own and that's the biggest change from now to the earlier years is the kids are doing it on their own. I don't have to go out. I could be driving past our practice building. There's 6, 7 kids throwing footballs just on their own, getting better, not with me telling them to do it,
Do you think that's because you've been around so long and now at this point it's Rocco's culture on Conneaut? Because I think that's something that a lot of the coaches out here are shooting for. Buzz Edwards at Lakeside, Coach Butchko at Edgewood, Rankin and Jefferson. Everybody wants to make sure that, the culture of this team is your culture.
Yeah, I mean that's a hope, I guess. I'll say it's a culture of our coaching staff. Just installing that in the kids, and then you get a special with Rylan. It was Rylan. It wasn't me, So maybe I coached a little, or helped a little, or some assistant coaches helped him a little. Hey, bring other kids with you. But when you get those special kids, that really helps your coaching staff. But I do think it is a cultural part of the program. I remember when I first came here, we have the team run over silly stuff, like just whatever. You ain't got this pad in, we're running, or you're doing this, we're running, you're swearing, and that stuff doesn't happen anymore. I mean, we can trust the kids to, hey, without any coaches, hey, go do your stretches and start practice. It's not start practice, but start your stretches and start your sprints. And they can do that without me being there blowing a whistle and they give it up. I don't have to say, run through the line, run through the line, run through the line, two pass. We used to do that all the time. Now they know, so that's a part of the culture thing. And it's something that we as a program have established. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, setting that expectation is amazing. And then it just going through with it, to get honestly 15, 16, 17, and 18-year-old kids
to do anything,
to listen to you without being there. Good for you, buddy. Good for you.
Now, if I tell them to get 6 feet apart, they're not going to do that. But
yeah, that it's tough. It's tough. Every school we went to.
I tell them to work hard, they work hard. But I'm like, spread out, and they move like 2 inches.
Right.
They just want to be by their buddy, man. They just want to be by their buddy. Come on.
Last night anyways. I'm like, gosh.
Yeah. So, I want to get into. We talked a little bit about the offense because I think. Honestly, I'm really excited to come. Hopefully, week 6 it all works out. Let's see. Rocco is being humble. It's 100% the environment he has created. These kids want to work. I don't know if you can read that, coach, or not, but that is one of your assistants out there.
And then he tagged Baker next to it. I don't know if that's good. It's Baker's picture.
Yeah. So that's what, I thought that. You told us you're a Steelers fan, and then your best friend / assistant coach is a Baker fan.
That
I think
just lets me know
you a little bit better.
That just lets me know you keep good company, coach.
Baker, touchdown maker.
We have some fun Sundays together. We enjoy Sundays. So
I'll bet you do. It's football all day. But yeah, I'm super excited about week 6 because I love the thought of the whole not audible offense, but on the fly offense. You talked about doing a hurry up, but really there's no I'm assuming the quarterback doesn't, and you might have a wristband on and you can yell 1, 2, 3, whatever it is, or you can do that. But we talked last night, and you talked about this year running. I called it, and me, Sammy, and Tom called it the two-headed monster at quarterback there, meaning you're going to have potentially 2 quarterbacks just depending on the situation. If you could elaborate on that a little bit, I'm super stoked just to see how that one works, just because it's so unique compared to what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, it'll be a little unique because we lost Rylan last year, and last year we played 2 quarterbacks because I did have a really good throwing quarterback. Rylan just happened to be able to do both. But losing Rylan, it was going into the season, we had no clue who our quarterback was. And we really we had 3 kids that we knew wanted to be quarterback, and one that I kind of, he kind of asked me, and I said, we do need someone that can run the ball. Like that's always been something that we had as a team is someone that had good legs that can run. And so we had a 4th guy. So this was a year more than any that I needed scrimmages. And we didn't get them. We finally got one last week, thank goodness. But just going through our practices, 2 kids really stood out, and one is he came off a knee injury last year. Jake Slayton came off a knee injury. He started at receiver and corner as a sophomore at Butchko.
Yeah, boy. Hey, I'll bet there's other coaches on here. They're not talking as much as Butchko. Let me tell you. But go ahead. Sorry to interrupt you, Coach.
I call Butchko. I'll tell him anyways. But Jake Slayton was a great sophomore player. Unfortunately, he had a knee injury last year. So he came back in, and he's a kid that is just a pure athlete. He can go shoot a 3-pointer right now. He'll go get a couple hits in a baseball game. He can do everything you need to do as an athlete, but he does have that knee where it slowed him down a little bit in as far as his legs go. But his command of an offense, he's smart. He's just a natural athlete. He's smooth. He's very relaxed in the pocket. There's no oh, I got pressure. He just kind of slides and will throw the ball. But he lost a little bit of his ability to scramble. And then Kiefer Mandigello is a junior he's probably 135 pounds soaking wet. But he can run. He's a little scatty kid and who's got the running ability. So we just kind of kept it simple with him and taught him some key running plays that, hey, you can hand off to our very good running back or keep the ball. And we actually got 2 pretty darn good running backs. Or he can keep the ball. And in the scrimmage, he already showed that, he had about 3 or 4 carries where he got 10 plus yards. And it's like we do need that as a part of our offense. And we also need that calm, cool quarterback that can relax and sit there and just command the offense. So there's definitely a spot for both of them. And one's experienced. And I think it's going to be a nice thing to complement what we have around them guys.
So yeah, I was gonna say that's kind of the beauty of high school football more than anything. You get into a pro level, it's kind of set in the way you do things. Even some collegiate levels, it's kind of set. But high school, you can kind of just make things up as you go. In a way, I guess genuinely what I mean is just your situation. You got to work with what you have versus being able to recruit kids. So,
right. And with those two guys, like I said earlier, with those 2 guys up front, we're doing the same thing. It's just with this guy, I'm handing the ball off in play action. With this guy, I'm handing the ball off for running the ball. He's going to hand it off or keep it. But it's the same up front. So my linemen don't have to learn anything new for either quarterback. It's just the backfield looks very a little different. So
very nice.
Well, just kind of building on what Ryan said real quick on the freestyle, a little bit of the freestyle offense we talked about last night. I saw last year with that tough 9-1 team of yours, you guys got a little bit fancy out there running some trick plays, one of which anybody between the years of 2001 and 2005 knows about Conneaut and the hook and ladder, which just happened to be the first play I got to watch on Huddle, as well as a double handoff in the backfield. I saw you guys were getting, go play some and one football is what it looked like.
Yeah, it just makes it fun for the kids. It's all about keeping them motivated. Practices get long, they get monotonous, and we started last year. I think one of my coaches gave me the idea, but he was like, hey, let's let them come up with a trick play. Let's let them come up with 1 or 2 a week, and then we can practice it, and then, make sure it's functional, make sure we can actually use it and that kind of thing. And the hitch and ladder, that's kind of the easiest thing in the world. It doesn't take a whole lot of design, and it's super hard to stop because, everyone in the country thinks, oh, you just threw a hitch. Next thing you know, fast little running back comes around and pitch it to him. So that's always nice. So, and then we have a nice little two back set where you have 2 good running backs and a quarterback that can run. So now all of a sudden, no one knows where the ball is going. So if you could do that little double handoff, I told our guys that's not really a trick play for us. Like that's just like an in the book. It can happen any down type play. So, but yeah, we're gonna get. And I haven't even done that with this year's team yet. So that's something that we'll get into. Week 2 on is letting those guys come up with some trick plays and let them have a little bit more fun. So.
Yeah, you guys ran those like you were Boise State. Those guys didn't have a question in their mind, man.
Yeah, boy.
I was in the last year's class. Like I said, those kids can come up with crazy ideas. And the thing is, they were good. They were good ideas. They weren't, they had some good football knowledge.
Yeah, and I think that's really cool because it really speaks to you and your coaching staff and the empowerment of your players, really empowering those kids to make decisions that can, help dictate a game, help dictate, your playbook going forward. And like you said, break up that monotony because I didn't play high school football. I was just baseball guy. So, I can imagine the practices, like you said, sometimes it breaks up the monotony and stuff, but it also probably gives them a really good sense of, they truly feel that trust that you have in them because and it helps them buy in more. So it really helps that Rocco culture. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's awesome, man. That's sweet.
We had Coach Paston, and we just left that message. he said, and he probably got it at a clinic, but he was like, hey, we should ask each position group, hey, what are your favorite 3 plays this week? I don't know who he got it off of, but he said, hey, what are your favorite 3 plays this week? And it is something we should do anyways. Like going into a game, what do those kids feel comfortable running? Like, what are your favorite 3 plays? And we're going to try to run those 3 plays, whether you're lineman, whether you're running back or receiver, because if they're comfortable running those plays, they're going to do them better. So
yeah.
That's a good idea that we'll probably implement it sometime.
I was going to say, any kid that says I love this play A, B, and C, that means he knows play A, B, and C. Like that. Yeah. I mean, he knows those plays to a T. There's no questions asked. It's going to get ran the right way every time, at least from that one kid.
Right.
So one thing that's always been a little bit near and dear to my.
There is nothing more terrifying, and I'll let you go, Ryan, than a coach asking you, what are you supposed to be doing on this play?
Yeah.
And there's a question in your mind.
Yep. Hey, most of the time, though, the kids know the answer, but they've answered it 4 times in their head, and they can't pick which answer is the right one. And the first one was right, but they said, it could have been B, though. So let me act stupid for a minute and just see where this goes. We witnessed it last Saturday at a school. It was pretty funny. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really did. So one of the things near and dear to my heart has always been the offensive line. It's what I played in high school. I never went. So I just talking about, do you have, the beefcakes up front, or are we talking about, some skinnier guys? Just out of curiosity.
We're probably a smaller group this year.
Okay.
Yeah, we had one kid that was close to 6 foot, about 280. And he broke his foot in a scrimmage, so he's out, at least for a couple of weeks here.
Yeah.
And then
right.
We have a center that's going to be a 2nd-year starter, but he would have started his freshman year, broke his leg. But, he's probably 220, 225.
We got to get you guys some milk out there, Coach.
Yeah. Nick Osborne, he's short. He's probably only like, maybe 5'7", 5'8". And then, and then across there, I don't know if we have any guys over really 210, probably 210 or smaller. So we scrimmage a big PV team, and you could tell those dudes are huge. But the good thing about our offensive line is they've been pretty quick. They've been quick and good athletes. And when you get good athletic kids, like it's hard to do that in the college level, or if you just play a team that's just out of your league. Like across the board, they're going to be 260 or to 300 pounds or 320. It might be hard, but most teams we play at this level, in high school level, if you're a good athlete on the offensive line, then all you need to do is get a body on a body. You don't got to kill anybody. You just got to latch on and let the running back.
Baby.
So
leverage, baby.
Yeah.
For
sure.
Slow man wins.
That's why I always win.
So, Coach, we've had a ball talking about offense. No pun intended of having a ball here, but hey, we're having fun with the offense. But hey, there's another side to the ball, the defense. So I'm curious, as I'm sure everyone else is, man. So what kind of defense are you running? What are you doing different? How has your defense evolved in your time at Conneaut? Give us some intricacies of that defense here.
We run. It's kind of like a 3-4 personnel.
Okay.
So we're gonna try to get our three big guys or 3 good. And actually, this year they're not big, but they're strong and fast. 3 guys in the middle that are good defensive linemen, and then we call it our attack as our weak side end. We want somebody that can come hard off the edge, but can also play a little bit of pass coverage if we need to go nickel against pass side teams. And then our strong side outside linebacker, we call our drop. I don't know why. That's somewhere along the line we got that call. But our strong side offensive line, our strong side defensive linebacker is always one of our best players. We want them because high school football or younger, everybody wants to get to the outside if you can get to the outside. So we're trying. We make that outside linebacker to the strength, to the field, just one of our best players. they can turn everything back into our linebackers. And that's kind of our philosophy there. The nice thing about our offense is we can do multiple fronts. We can slide a guy here or there and give a different couple looks, but it's real simple. We're always going back to the same gap they started. So, overall, the nice thing is we've been the same for 10 years, the same up front. Nothing's changed. The only thing we've changed a little bit is coverages. And that it evolved just as we got better, as kids started to understand what we were doing. Because probably those first years we did too much. So once we got into, hey, these kids understand what we're doing, then we could get a little bit more complicated just so we're not so vanilla on defense in the backfield, the defensive backs. So we run more of a 2-high system now where we used to run 3-high, three deep. Well, now it's, we have 2 safeties, but at any given point we could roll one guy or the other and be back in cover 3, or we could just stay 2-high. But we got to the point where we can do that. Before, when I first came, it was like we tried to do both, and it was like too much. There was let's just run all cover 3, no matter what. We'll just say 3 different guys can be deep. So sometimes we'll sit the corner, make the safety deep. Sometimes we'll have the corner go and safety down. But now we were able to evolve a little bit more complicated in the secondary, just to make us a bit better against the passing teams, because you do see some spread teams, and that's the biggest thing. I felt like way back everyone ran the same style offense, and then everyone went to the spread. So then your defense evolved to how do you cover the spread, and now it's a mix. I mean, we play some spread teams and then some wing T teams, spread team, wing T. So it's like you're kind of seeing everything, so the defense better be prepared to be able to stop everything. But being the same year to year, the kids know it coming in, and our middle school runs the same thing.
Oh, heck yeah.
Real quick, Sam, I know you're getting ready to ask a question here, but is the Power I, is that like just done now? I mean, are there schools that actually still run it, or is it so ancient that it's just gone?
It's pretty much gone, and at least the teams we've played. Every once in a while, you'll see a team on the goal line, maybe run it, but
yeah,
not too much. I mean, you don't see a whole lot of it at all. So.
Interesting.
All right. So we've talked about your defense, this hybrid defense. We've talked about this spread, but enough run offense. Who are the guys who are the Spartans we need to watch out for this year? Because that's one of the big things we're trying to do this year is keep our eyes out on guys that, maybe it's somebody coming back. Maybe it's somebody that has just stood out.
Yeah, I think a couple of the guys I mentioned are Tellus Andrews is our receiver coming back, and he's that drop position. I said it's very important, outside linebacker. But he's one of the only returning offensive skill position starters from last year. And I think he had our most yards receiving last year, even amongst all those. Some other kids might have had more catches, but he had our most yards receiving, I believe. He was a deep threat, and he can also catch, screen passes and go. Just a fast, strong kid. He bought into the Ryland program. He was working out with Ryland all the time. But I think he's going to have a great season. Jake Nunes, it's actually Anthony Nunes, but they call him Jake, so I don't know what he goes by. But Jake Nunes is a track guy who he had so many tackles on special teams last year. It was unreal. But he would have played last year as a junior for any other team I've ever had. But we had such good players last year. He ended up being like that first backup in. I think he's going to really come out as a senior and be a hard kid to get your hands on. He's so quick and fast. He's kind of got all the tools as far as the running back goes, and then he's not scared to hit. He's one of our strong safeties. And then we have a special running back who's only a sophomore, Zach Rice. He got to play a little bit as a freshman last year. Very good yards per carry average last year. I think it was in the 6s or 7s as a freshman. Yeah, he's good. Real
That's
deal.
huge.
Yeah.
But if you look at the kid, you wouldn't know he's a sophomore. So he's going to have a special career in the backfield there. So I talked about we had the running quarterback. So you get that Nunes kid and Rice back with him. and you kind of got 3 kids that can run the ball at the same time back there, and it should be a special look, you know. And but like I said, he's something special. And then on the offensive line, we returned. Or last year, defensive line should start because he was a returning starter from that defense. At our attack position, we have Alex Coleman. And I want to give him a shout out because he's a kid that's played a little as a freshman, ended up starting some. He's going into his junior year. He played receiver. In his 8th grade season, he was the best receiver on the team. But he played some receiver and that outside linebacker / defensive end. And this year we're like, hey man, joking around but hey, we're short linemen, offensive lineman. He's like, I'll do it. I don't care. If that's what you need, coach, I'll be an offensive lineman. So you don't see that very often. You get even if they would help our team, most kids are like, nope, I'm not going to the offensive line after I've been a receiver. So this kid is now going to be an offensive lineman and a defensive end, where he could easily be a good receiver, but he's going to help us out because he's an aggressive, strong kid, Alex Coleman. So I'm proud of where he's at. And like I said earlier, Nick Osborne's a returning starter. And probably our biggest lineman coming back is Jake Wiley, but he did break his foot, but we're hoping he's back by weeks 5 or 6. So those are the names that stand out immediately. And we got some good skill guys across the board. And I think some other guys are going to make the names for themselves once we get out there. You know, Lane Herman's another guy like Jake Nunes, who he didn't get a chance to start last year, but at linebacker right now, he looks unreal. You know, he's fast to the ball. He's a strong kid, but he didn't get a chance to start last year because he was behind a good group. So,
it sounds less. Real quick, I was going to say you mentioned how the wide receiver was willing to go to offensive lineman with no problem. I will tell you, as an offensive lineman, I would have loved to have tried wide receiver once, but they would have never let me. Never. Throw a screen pass. Let me just pummel somebody. Come on.
Yeah. That's never an issue. And actually,
offensive line. Oh, you want to run the ball?
Yeah, right. No, you'll never have that issue the other way. The other thing, I mean, just talking about it is, and I guess it's worth mentioning, but our kicker was really good. We've always had a soccer player kick for us, always, since I've been here. Mm-hmm. But usually they come out their senior year and kick. Well, we've had a kicker since his sophomore year. Last year he kicked like 60-something extra points. It was like unreal, the number. He would get over 70 points as a kicker. And then this year he decided he wanted to, because once his soccer season ended last year, he played a couple JV games just for fun at the end of the year. And he decided he wanted to play football. So Joey Merlin is our kicker, but he's also going to end up playing some receiver and DB because he loved football. He loved playing it and decided he's going to play with us. So he gives us an added depth at that receiver and corner position. And then I'm kind of both ways, though, because I kind of want to keep him healthy to make people kick. But
right.
But he's a tough kid. He's a tough-nosed kid that doesn't mind hitting somebody. You know, I don't know how many kickers are that way, but he is.
Over at Edgewood, that's not even a position on their team, I've heard. No such thing. They don't even roster them.
They just go for 2 every time.
Yeah.
So this coming year, you've got a 10-game season set up, or a 10-game schedule, I guess, set up, except for one. You're going to open the season obviously with Grand Valley at home. Then you're going to follow that with West Geauga at home. You guys are traveling down to the World of Warren JFK. Week 4, which is something for everybody to circle on your calendar because the rivalry is back, folks. We've got Conneaut Edgewood week 4 at Edgewood, so it's going to be a great game. But then that leads to week 5 that you guys have open. So all the people watching right now, if you're looking, Conneaut's looking for somebody to knuckle up with.
Absolutely.
I was going to say, that kicker, did he have a long, what was his long field goal? Or was it just extra points mainly?
I think he was like a 37-yarder, but he could kick. he could kick a deep 40, maybe a
Yeah.
little longer, but he didn't really get the chance,
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to kick a long field goal when you're running 77-yard quarterback keepers.
Yeah, it just happened. I think one time we gave him like a long shot close to 50, and how you get that one chance, you get overexcited and try to just kill the ball. Most of his extra points would probably make it from 45, but then when you actually got to kick a 45-yarder, you try to kill it, instead of just he's got the leg.
Somehow it shanks off the left guard, just blast him in the side of the chest. Yeah.
He didn't. I think he was like 3 for 4 for field goals, but I think the longest was like 36. So.
And then I want – go ahead, Sam.
Go ahead, Ryan.
I just want to ask, how many kids you're rostering this year for the folks that are watching?
50. Right around 50 mark.
Oh, right around 50. Okay.
Yeah, 50 give or I think their actual roster is 53. So,
okay.
Yeah, so one of the other things I wanted to kind of just before we go is talk about you and Coach Butchko are both in sorts the last of the Mohicans when it comes to playing on real grass fields. Is that something that you feel like kind of works in your benefit? Because when teams come in and it's cold and it's wet, just like Northeast Ohio gets, it's different to play on a grass field than it is to play on a turf.
Yeah, I mean, our kids love grass because that's what they're used to. So I think it all comes down to what you're used to, And last year was the first year where we played a decent amount of teams in PA that had turf, and our kids definitely didn't love that. They like the grass, although they'll take turf over crappy grass because 2 years ago we played 2 or 3 that were like mud pits, and our grass. I don't know if you guys have been there, but it's beautiful. It could rain for 4 days and there's no mud. I've never played in a mud game on our home field in 10 years. There's no mud. There's never been mud. It's just probably the nicest grass field of any team we play. So you never get that muddy. I don't know what they do to it, but it never gets muddy. I don't know if there's sand under there or what. But then, so if you go play somewhere where it's muddy and moshy, that doesn't help us either because our kids aren't used to that. So they don't like that, but they do like just a regular, decent grass field instead of the other thing about our field is it's real flat. So sometimes you'll go to a grass field that has the big crown.
Yeah.
And that throws you off because then you're in the middle of the field and you're throwing downhill, and that kind of throws us off. So I mean,
Coach, we call that the Ganeri.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but we do love playing at home. That's for sure. There's no doubt about it that we love playing at home. And when teams come to us, we usually get compliments. And that's a compliment to our grounds crew. They do a really good job with that.
Well, yeah, you know what? There's a lot of great things going on in Conneaut, and one of the things is you've got a great facility out there for football, and another thing is you got a great fan base. You can hear Conneaut cheers from 40 miles away. There are nights that I'm pretty sure I can hear your band, particularly during basketball season. I had to go get a hearing check. So, Conneaut has a great fan base. It is very, I envy. It's very. I envy that because it's your people are very invested in a very tight knit community.
Last year when we played Edgewood, we played first game and it was on a Thursday, but it was second quarter was starting. There's still people lined up at the gate. And that's a tribute to the rival coming back, but also to just the fans around here that want to see a lot of these county games happen again. And I know I went to the Edgewood Lakeside game. That might have been on a Thursday. It must have been on maybe that was on a Friday, but we played a Saturday game that week. And I went to that game, and it was, both sides were packed. So those are the games that the kids really like to play in. And I know that ain't going to happen this year, no matter what, because of the COVID. But I think that getting back to that would be a nice thing, getting some rivals going, some county matches, and the kids want it, the communities want it, and the fan base is just so much funner to play under, more fun to play under it with just that kind of crowds going. And I think you can get those rivalries with Jefferson and us, Edgewood, Lakeside, Geneva. You know, it's all there. You know, Grand Valley's bring a good crowd. So hopefully we
Coach,
get back.
I'd say
I
you
really
took the
gotta
words
tip my
out of
hat,
our mouth. Yeah. You took.
That's
We were
fucking
literally. That was
tough.
the next thing I wanted to get into, and I think I can speak for the panel here, Tom and Sammy. We would love to see some more local games played. Even you know what, honestly, when it comes down to even regardless of conference, whatever you're in, you know, schedule some local games. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to see. You know, we can call it the NEC. I'd love to see the NEC back. But it could be called something else. I don't care what it's called, just as long as, you know, what we have 6, 7, 8 schools all within. You better mention your wife at some point. We have 8
Figured I'd
schools.
put that out for him.
I think it's 8 schools in Ashtabula County. You know, we're all within 30 minutes travel time of one another. You know what I mean? Why not? Why not? You know, why take that and taking that revenue out of, you know what I mean? Like, honestly, week 1 against week 2 against West Geauga. Nothing against West Geauga. I know nothing about them, and it's I don't really want to. Right, I don't want to know anything about them either. You know, I just don't. Like, I want to know about Conneaut and Edgewood and St. John and Lakeside. That's what I want to know about as a local fan.
You got 5 schools. They all share one Walmart. You got to use that.
Walmart should build a field where the golf course driving range is back there. We have all kinds of people coming in.
No, I got to say, driving range. Here was my simple way of saying it. Like, it's a no-brainer. I mean, obviously it is somewhere down the road. I don't know how the NEC first split up or why, because I wasn't here then. But now when I think about it, I'm like, okay, so our kids want to play county teams. If I talk to any of our business owners that like donate money, and they're always like, "Hey, are we gonna play county schools sometime soon?" You know, they're all any of the big business owners want us to play. You know, and then it saves you money on busing and you gain money on gates. So I'm like, so what else is there? Like, that's everything, right? Yeah. Your players want it, your community wants it. So it's just a matter of getting it to happen. You know, somehow someone's got to be the guy to get it all together. Who's going to get it all together? And
we're just going to keep beating that drum, Coach. We're just going to keep beating that drum.
Well, I'm going to keep beating it too.
Yeah, for real, we are. I mean, that's what we want to see. And honestly, the general consensus from most that we've had on here is they would love to see more county games. But usually the biggest hit is, you know, about points and all that. You know, I don't know exactly how that one works, so I'm not going to touch into it. But, you know, but yeah, I can't wait. One day it will happen. One day, and maybe it's because of 4-4-0 goal. You never know. Maybe it'll be the 4-4-0 goal county league. That would be cool. Maybe we can start that.
Hey, you guys imagine we'll keep sharing it everywhere. All the county coaches will keep sharing it.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Hey, can't we get one of those petitions?
Yeah,
hey, there's one for everything else, man.
Yeah, why not? Why not get 100,000 signatures on that thing? All you got to do is click yes. You don't even have to actually sign anything. Yeah,
that's right. Modern that.
Check yes.
All right, Coach. It is now 10:30. I don't want to take any more of your time. I know you got the kids at home and all that fun jazz. So,
absolutely.
I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, man. It was great to have you on here. Super excited about the Conneaut Spartans. Super excited about the Conneaut Spartans football season coming up. I'll spit it out there. Really, thank you again. I can't thank you enough.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Coach, I want to thank you as well for coming on the show. Super excited. I want to be the first one to tell you good week this week against Grand Valley. Good luck for your whole entire season. Look forward to seeing you guys go against LeBray, and you know they're not county, so we look forward to you whooping LeBray in week 6.
Yep.
And us calling
there you go.
and us calling the Carnage play-by-play.
There you go. There you go.
Hey, Coach, thank you so much. Thank you for the bet. Thank you for the dialogue. Thank you for being so open with us and really giving us an opportunity to kind of meet you and learn more about you. And I can't wait to develop a relationship down the road. It's going to be real nice. Hello.
There's my youngest.
Hi.
The youngest of the Spartan crew.
Hey, all girls at 10:30 are dressed up in play clothes, right?
Oh,
Good
yeah,
for
I'm the
them.
father of 3 daughters, so that's how that works. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
hey, at least your kids got clothes on. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Yeah.
Like Coach
So-
Passman said, he said, shout out to my wife, but my wife Emily takes care of 4 kids while during football, so that is a pretty impressive lady. So
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
absolutely.
that's all I get.
She's a that's called being a miracle worker. That's what that's called. Yeah.
Well, with
Yeah.
the kids,
So
She actually became the cheerleading advisor, so that way we could still stay in touch during the season. We could still talk, you know?
You're a little bit.
There you go.
I get to see them from across the field. My husband's over there.
Hi, honey.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it. I love being on the show. Thank you.
Thanks so
Yeah.
much. See you soon, Coach. Can't wait.
All right.
Yep. We'll talk to you. I'm going to take you out. Thanks, Coach. Night.
Yep.
All right, guys, everyone out there watching, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. That was a fun interview with
What a
Coach
great
Rock.
show, man. What a great
I'm
show.
not going to screw up his last name like I did.
I
for
will
the
say it.
third time.
It's Coach Rocco Dobran.
Nope, it's just Coach Rock for me. Let's just keep it that. Like first name Coach, last name Rock. We're done. Anyways, don't forget, hey, this Friday coming up, we're going to Lakeside versus West
watch
Geauga, the
the-
CBC game
That's
of the
right,
week.
baby. You're gonna get
So
some
we will be there on
live,
Friday coming up.
some live commentary, live and in color as the Dragons put it on the West Geauga Wolverines.
You know that's
Yeah.
right. All right, guys. Ryan, getting out of here. Thanks, man. I appreciate everyone showing up tonight. We'll see you on Friday.
Absolutely. Take it easy, fellas. I'll see you all on Friday.
This is Tom, I'm out of here. Have a good night. See you Friday.
Deuces.
Rebound taken by Iguodala. Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the rejection.
Cleveland, this is for you.
Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, 4-4 and go. That other getting old. We got Sam Ryan time. This is a sports octagon. Sports for forever and beyond. Spending with Sam Ryan time. From the puck to the glove to the pigskins high. Share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. Down the baseline in the bleachers, or you wanna get denied. Yeah, share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, it's 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul.
The Browns Super Bowl contenders.
Hey, listen, when we start talking about what wins Super Bowl, we talk about talent. The Browns, they have the talent. They have it.